Friday night is D-Day. Friday night is D-Day. That's their season.
Yeah.
If they get down 3-1, they're not going to win this series. Now, if they get it to 2-2, they go back to being the favorite. But Friday night is their game.
Friday night, it's on. All right, the Pacers finished strong in Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead and prove their record to 5-0 following a loss this postseason. Teams to win Game 3 in a series that is tied 1-1 go on to win the title 80% of the time. Odds are in those favor. Here's Hali on those who have criticized his scoring output.
Yeah, I think the commentary is always going to be what it is. You know, most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball? It doesn't matter. You know, we're here in the NBA Finals, 2 wins away from an NBA championship.
Yeah, what's up? That's a very ignorant statement on his part. You know what I'm saying? It is. First of all, you know, let me be very, very clear. That's a very ignorant statement on his part. Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, y'all, you, others, Kendrick Perkins.
I know. We all know.
I'm just saying. So what do you mean? Cats don't know. That's the media. That's who you talking about. Now you talking about me. I'm the guy that wanted him drafted by the New York Knicks. I'm the guy that said that the players were wrong to label him overrated. Did you remember that? So I give him credit. He was smart enough not to mention my name because he was assuming. Because had he mentioned me, I'd go in deeper, but I won't. What I will say to you is this. In the end, it just amazes me how cats can be sometimes. Win the damn chip, bro. Win the damn chip. Because the first 2 games of this NBA Finals Series, you had your moment with 0.3 seconds left. Other than that, you didn't play well. And Shai Gilgeous was giving it to y'all. He was averaging 36 coming into the game, reigning league MVP. That ain't on me, that's on you. You know, and oh, by the way, just in case he was talking about me, my brother, I'm not going away.
No, you're not.
I'm going to be here for a while. You said, read the news? I'm going to be here for a while. So next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, I'm going to be here. And players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out?
When your eyes get soft like that, I get really worried.
all
By the way, I'm really proud of you. You handled that very well. You handled that very well.
Stephen
You handled that very well,
That's
big
all
bro.
I'm
I'm going to give you credit for that.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't get the beauty of me, you know, unfortunately, a lot of guys aren't lucky and as fortunate as I am from this standpoint. They have to talk to you. I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you. So whether I speak to them or not or whatever it is, you don't stop this train.
Yeah, the train keeps moving.
And last thing.
It's a locomotive.
And last
run through
thing,
people.
it is a locomotive because, you know, we've been #1 for 13 straight years.
Oh, we got a we on that.
So,
Yeah, you did, Molly.
so evidently people are listening even if he's not. And I happen to know that because I just left Indy, and I couldn't stop people from wanting to take pictures and autographs and all that stuff. Just again, just thought.
You know what I wanted to do, though? Because I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this before, that was a great moment for us.
Right.
Because I think everybody, even though we've been saying the same thing, we all felt.
It was me. He was talking to me. He's
Okay.
Because he's not a superstar.
But also, this is a big thank you moment. This is a big thank you moment for us. Because we need you to keep doing that.
What?
If he plays at a superstar level.
You know what? He got a
we
chance
need
to win
you
this
to
bad
keep
boy.
doing that.
He got a chance to win
If
this
that-
bad boy.
Here's what I want to know. If
my-
he continues to play like this, are the Pacers winning it all? The Morris twins. Hi, everyone. By the way, I didn't introduce you guys.
What's their record when he scores 20 points or more? 33-4?
Yeah.
33-4.
The playoffs, 8-1 now.
8-1 now. So we were talking, that unlocks all the other aspects of his game.
Jay, I go as far as to say this. Oklahoma City loses game 4, they lose in this series.
I agree.
Right.
They got to win. They got to win Friday night. If OKC does not win Friday night, they are not beating the Indiana Pacers 3
Do you
straight
think
games.
they are winning Friday?
I think it's one day off is the interesting part. Like, they only get one day in between.
Yeah,
And the way that
point.
Indiana plays with so many guys, their bench is playing so fast, like, they're definitely a little bit behind. Like, and I was saying that I thought whoever won Game 3 was going to be the winner of the championship.
So it's
That was
advantage Indy having the
for
one
sure.
game.
But I would say this: SGA, 24 points on 20 shots.
He looks fat. He
Look
He looked
gassed.
tired. Well, know why?
Gassed.
Because Andrew Nembhard was picking him
Hitting
up full
him,
court.
Not just that.
Hitting him, banging him, making him
Not
turn
just that,
3 or
what you
4
pointed
times.
out a couple of weeks ago and we've been talking about. Indiana's pushing the ball even after major.
Fast. Every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
You know
Who
what?
has
you
the
know,
momentum
they,
in the series?
They look like that Phoenix Suns team with Steve Nash in Phoenix. When
That's right.
I actually played for that team. When it doesn't matter if you make it, we going.
That's right.
It's 8 seconds or less basketball.
Yeah.
Who do you
Crazy.
think has the momentum now? Stephen A. said it hasn't really swung either
It
way
swung
until
to
game
Indiana
4.
a little bit, but I'm saying OKC can get it back.
Swing
Right
back.
now it's
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Indiana.
I think it's just
Still-
the holes.
still even?
I mean to cut you off. I think it's just the holes we're seeing in Oklahoma City that we didn't see in the previous times that they played against Timberwolves and against Denver. We're seeing holes that if they play fast, continue to move, and the bench. It just whoever bench plays well has been coming down to the wire, right? Like Mathurin came off and had a great game, but the game before that, you had OKC bench kind of
Wiggins,
win
yeah.
that game. If Wiggins doesn't have 20 points, we still can be having a different conversation as well. So I'm looking at it as the home court advantage does mean a lot in Indiana. Like OKC is a good team, but that home court advantage means a lot because that looked like a total different team than what we've seen in OKC as far as aggressiveness, as far as hitting, offensive rebounding. It just seemed like it was a lot different that game.
See, I want to say it's Indiana, Marcus, but then I'm kind of feel like I am now prone to see Indiana play well and then not play well again, and then play well. So this to me, like what you saw from Tyrese Haliburton needs to be consistent in Game 4.
When you're talking about OKC, we've talked so much about Shea. But we raved about, number one, their defensive prowess, and they've been giving up better than 50% shooting and over 50 points a half in 3 of these games. That's number one. Number two, that bench. Where the hell are y'all? If Shea's a little gassed, where you at, Jalen Williams? I'm talking about your efficiency.
Yeah.
Where you at, Caruso? Where you at, Wiggins? Wiggins going to get off. Where you at,
Donut.
Holmgren? I mean, Dort, others. Somebody's got to step up on the road. It can't just be Shea, because Rick Carlisle is saying, yo, he going to get his. We going to try to wear him down, but he going to get his. What the rest of them going to do? And when you look at OKC, it's very rare that they had tight games this season. But in those tight games, they were like 3-9 and 1-4 in the postseason. And so as the game wanes, the tighter it is, the more they fade. That means other cats ain't stepping up.
At all.
You have to do it Friday night.
The
You
drop-
have to.
Don't you think a lot of this game, the first play of the game, SGA got that bow. The second play of the game, Lou Dort got held for, they weren't calling out the first
It was
2
about
games.
3 times that
They didn't call that.
SGA laid on the floor in that game when he was knocked down. Literally 3 or 4 times when he just laid hands behind the head like
Using
I
their
am
rest.
gassed.
Yeah.
Like these guys are, like I said earlier, the 2 starting guards on them have 6 and 5 fouls. That's coach telling them, go out there and beat his ass. Like, it's a guy behind you that's going to come play exactly as hard as you and going to do the exact same thing. So that's the catalyst
The
right
key,
there.
too, we got to remember Mathurin.
Last
And the
thing.
reason why is
Yeah.
because this dude gives you offensive punch off the bench. I remember against the Knicks, he scored 20 points in 12 minutes.
What you call him
Last-
earlier, JWill?
Yeah.
Kaminga East.
Yes.
Jonathan
Right.
Kaminga
He's right.
East.
Yeah, when
You know what I
give
mean?
an opportunity.
Yeah,
And I think-
exactly.
And there's 2 things we forgot about Mathurin. Number one, even though he's coming off the bench and giving you what he's giving you, he started about 16 games.
And
this
is a
year,
starter.
Right? He is a starter. And number 2, he's the 3rd leading scorer on the team.
Yeah.
So the brother, he's doing what he does.
Yep.
They gonna have to have, you got to have your bench answer that call if you're OKC.
But can they, though? But
I know.
can they
You gotta
bench
find out.
actually answer it? Because Aaron Wiggins had 18 points and Caruso had 20. These are not guys that score the basketball. These are utility guys. And that's what I was saying in the first game. If they don't have that, well, in game 2, if they don't have 38 42 points, off the 42 off the bench, if they don't have 38 between those 2, that's a different looking game without Haliburton even playing well. It's a total different game. And then, as I say, we need the bench to come along and do that again. So are we dependent on OKC bench to have that same output for them to win in Indiana?
Yeah.
That's the part you're asking for a second-year
Well, they
player.
did it against everybody
Caruso.
else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scoring, but we haven't seen Wiggins shoot step-back threes, crossovers the whole season. He was making that in the game,
You
so
gotta
he
step
looked
up.
like
You gotta handle your
it's a-
business.
All right,
it's a
well,
big
more on the
difference.
finals in just a bit, guys. This week on X, a fan caught KD's attention with this post. What have you done since leaving Brooklyn? It was a failure. Phoenix currently is a failure, and you're about to jump ship to the next best available team. Laugh out loud. KD replied, All-Stars, 50, 40, 90, All-NBA, efficient buckets. I also got a career-high assist 1 year. Hit 30K points, won a couple Olympic golds, MVPs. What a career, and I'm still going. I love my life. Earlier on First Take. Oh, no, we're not going to play that sound. But earlier on First Take, Magic Johnson addressed it. I just asked him if he got hit, would he hit back? And he's like, no, I don't have time. I'm about to, get on a yacht to Europe. Anyway, team, great to have you back. JWill, I'll start with you. Do you agree with KD about his legacy in defending it?
Yeah. It's no problem for me at all. I think KD is part of a different time and a different age and a different culture. And I think when you grow up with the screen the way a lot of us have, obviously KD's younger than I am, but I have no problem with you engaging back with people about defending your legacy. I think a lot of times people listen to mainstream media and topics that are spoken about, and a lot of topics are hyperbolic, which means, hey, either you're the best or you're the worst. And I think a lot of times, not this channel, but media companies can frame players as he's a bust or he just can't get over the hump, and all of a sudden it minimizes or diminishes the long-term greatness of your overall career. And if a player wants to jump online and clap back at somebody that doesn't have the knowledge, or just because they want to frame a short window as an entire career, I got no problem with that at all. Like, if they're going to put out the smoke, just be ready to take it back. Exactly. And that's the day and age that we live in. No qualm.
I'm with Magic. I don't got time. Like, we know what Kevin Durant is. We know what his career looked like in 17 years, scoring the ball as well as he had. First of all, when we talk about championships, you know how hard it is to actually win a championship? A lot of things has to go right? Like, and CBAs has changed. It's been in 17 years. A lot of the landscape of hoop has changed. But what he has done hasn't changed. He will go down as possibly one of the greatest scorers ever. The things he's done on the basketball court, being 6'11", being able to score, he introduced that to the game, right? Like, his legacy is intact. So for me, I mean, that's just something that he loves to do. He likes to get online. He likes to troll. He likes to talk back. That's cool with him. Me personally, if I was him, it's settled. I already know who I am, and I know what I've done in this league. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said how hard it is to go to the championship. Obviously, you haven't been to one, so you wouldn't know exactly how hard it is. Damn, I've been to a couple. Oh, my God. No,
you're a guy.
I'm making the example. Of how long we.
I was in the Bubble household, though.
I'm making the example of how long we've been to the league. How long we've been in the league, and you haven't been to the championship. I mean, I can speak. I've been a couple different times, so. Regardless of all that, my fault, brother. Regardless of all that.
Your twin brother.
My twin.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, I got to have something over him. But regardless of all that, I'm what you saying, man. I'm not taking part in talking to fools that don't know about the game. Obviously, they know they're going to get a reaction out of you saying things like that. Brother, you're one of the greatest players that ever played the game. None of that matters what they say. I mean, obviously, what have you done since you left Brooklyn? What has anybody done? It's been 7 different champions in 7 different years, in 7 years. So there's nobody that's actually man in the league and being the top guy. It's anybody's game right now. Every different team is winning every year, and it's fool's gold, man. Don't listen to this foolishness.
But let's get a bit specific as to what the real issue is, fellas. Kevin Durant is unquestionably one of the greatest players to have ever played the game of basketball. Why don't we talk about him more in that light? Why does it stop at LeBron and Steph when we talk about the greatest of this generation? That's what the real issue is. Let me finish. That's what the real issue is. Because what happens is that, say what we want, we all know how me and LeBron feel about each other, but there's no doubt he's a top 2 player of all time and one of the greatest leaders inside of a locker room. This is what people say about him. We all know to revere Steph Curry. You understand? When you look at KD, you in Oklahoma City, you up 3-1, you lose that series, and then you sign to the team that beat you a month later. You go there, you win back-to-back titles, would have won 3 straight. I believe they would have swept Toronto if KD had never tore his Achilles. That Toronto with Kawhi Leonard and them, they weren't beating Golden State. They'd have got romped in my estimation, right? Then you leave Steph Curry to go with Kyrie to Brooklyn. And when you left OKC to go to Golden State, you said you wanted to play a better brand of basketball. Remember, on the boardroom.
On the boardroom. We
you
did
was
that
hosting
sit-down
it,
talk.
and we sat face to face with one another.
Yeah.
He said, I wanted to play a better brand of basketball. Well, it didn't get much better than Golden State. So what you leave for? You left for things obviously other than basketball reasons, right? So because of that is deduced by the fan base, because we all know that based off of what he said and what they said, then you now look at the decisions that you make. You end up in Brooklyn. Obviously, the whole stuff with Kyrie there goes crazy, all of this other stuff. Kyrie ends up departing for Dallas. You end up departing for Phoenix. And when you go to Phoenix, in 3 years you've been there, you've been bounced out in the first round twice. First round. So we're looking at you and we're saying, as great as you are, what's up with all of this? Why isn't the resume like these guys? Why don't you have 4 rings? Why are you not in the discussion? Because there was one time when we weren't talking about Steph. We were talking about KD or LeBron is the best in the world.
Yeah.
What happened to that? And so that's where they're coming from. But it wouldn't exist if you were not that great. You're so great that what you've lacked achieving over the span of the last few years is where the conversation comes.
Essentially, what you think the fan is saying is, since you left Golden State, obviously, which was a super team, that Brooklyn situation, which should have been a super team, didn't pan out, and then Phoenix, we expected a lot from, and it also didn't pan out.
Fan is wrong. The fan is wrong because you're disrespecting him. He doesn't deserve disrespect.
But I'm saying, is that what you're?
Yeah, but you got to talk about him like he's worthy of being in that conversation. Why aren't you? As opposed to disrespecting him.
I just sometimes think it gets looked over or glossed over when you think about everything aligning right. Like, there is a huge element of luck for Steph Curry to end up in this conversation.
And if KD went size 12 instead of 13, they probably win the championship.
And same with LeBron. If you want to go back to Ray Allen making the shot, there's a lot of things that sometimes happen that end up, and it just doesn't seem like the ball has been bouncing on KD's side on the luck. But when you look at data, just historically, and the dude's averaging 20. He's the only player in the league averaging 25.
But you have to remember something about you, and I'm going to you here.
Okay.
You're a businessman. You think you're more expansive.
That's not how the fan base
on the court. But what I'm saying is, so is LeBron, so is Steph. So they think they have a more expansive view of things. So the leadership elements, habits, all of these other things come into play to contribute to winning. Whereas KD gives the impression, look, man, I'm ball. I'm a ball. I'm here to ball. I'm going to come out. I'm going to drop 30. I'm going to go home. And that's the impression. And people are saying it's not enough. And I've said that to him before. Like, yo, ain't nobody questioning you and what you're going to do. But what could you inspire and galvanize others around you to do?
Well, I think that's something that we don't know, and you was his teammate, so you'll be able to say that a little bit more. I think that's just something in his demeanor where he's just not like a rah-rah leader, right? It's a behind the scenes. And back to your point, so many things has to go right for you to win a championship. It's crazy. Kyrie Irving goes down in Brooklyn, in that year in Brooklyn, which I felt as though they had a great shot at winning.
James Harden got hurt. He was out there limping around.
Right.
Even without Harden, they would have won it if Kyrie
They would have won it, right. So if you look at the landscape of his career, he's always been there. Like, he's always been there. And yes, they talk about Steph and LeBron's because of the championships. So
it's circumstances outside of his control, like in terms of other
because that's like what other players do. Like, if you talk about, like, he said something about Allen Iverson. We don't question Allen Iverson's legacy. We don't question we don't question him at all.
KD's?
We don't question
Allen Iverson was 6 feet tall.
Wait, let Markieff go.
He was the same level of health, fellas.
Markieff, I want to hear your perspective on what Stephen A. said, because you were his teammate.
Yeah, he's a great guy all the way around. When it comes to just strictly basketball, he's the hardest worker I've seen on the court.
Yes,
every day, hundreds of shots, working hard. But let's call a spade a spade. If Kevin Durant never goes to Golden State, he would be critiqued just like those two guys, Steph and LeBron.
He would be treated like that?
He would be treated and critiqued like those two guys. Okay. But all this started happening when he left a great team in Oklahoma City and went to Golden State. Everything changed on how.
Nobody should be disrespecting the greatness of Kevin Durant. He's one of the greatest players to have ever lived. What he needs to understand is that his greatness is what really provokes the conversation. When you talk about a LeBron, when you talk about a Steph Curry, there was once upon a time we were not talking about Steph Curry. We were talking about Kevin Durant. And we said it's either him or LeBron or him. Who would you rather have? Kevin Durant is in his mid-30s, and we're still talking about him like that because that's how phenomenal and how great he is. But the individual greatness that he possesses, there are teams, whether they be executives, owners, former teammates, etc., who have accused him of, as great as he is as an individual, he could do more to peel out and maximize the talent around him if he wasn't so laissez-faire per se about things beyond him. He's going to go on the court and work on his game all day and every day. I play, I do me, blah, blah, blah. That's what he prides himself on. But other people, when you look at the great champions, they found a way to maximize the talent around him. And you never hear him speaking. I don't know how he feels, but you never hear him speaking about that responsibility. About, look, I'm trying to win. I need you to win. I need you to win. I need you to win. I gotta get my guys. You've heard that from others. You don't hear that from him. And so when you combine that with the fact that the whole Golden State thing happened and everything like that, those are the things people look at, because what they're saying is, as great as you are, as great as your resume is, you should actually have more than 2 championships. That's how people feel. That's a testament to his greatness.
Yeah.
But it's also a slight.
Just to the top of your point where you said nobody should be disrespecting KD, I would disagree with that.
Disrespect?
Yeah. People disrespect you. People disrespect me. It's online. I don't care what your opinion is of me.
Got you.
I know what your deal is. I know what you're doing. I know where you at every single day at 10 o'clock on the #1 show. You know what I mean? I know what my thing is. Like, at some point, like, and you can respond to people online, but I guess my bigger thing is, like, that to me feels like that's an emotional tie to what somebody else really says to validate yourself, where you won't really need to do that. So I get clapping back. It's not a big deal. But, like, clap back and have fun at it. That seems like it's very personal to KD. That he still questions himself and his own greatness in a way that he needs to respond to somebody that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the validation, like you said, the validation from the outside world, the validation is from your peers that's in your game.
And everybody knows what that is, too.
Yeah, and everybody knows what type of player he is, what he has done in his career, what he continue to do in his career, because at 37, averaging 25 points a game is still great and defying the odds. You know, get what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter in the outside world. It's among your peers. It's among the greats that came to this game before you. I don't have much to say. I think he's validated his career. I can say this, and it's the only point I'm going to make. I've been around other great players in my career. He's not the only one that don't have input on these teams.
Gotcha.
He's not the only one. It's a lot of them that does the same, where they kind of just selfish. And look, I'm gonna make sure I perform. I'm gonna make sure I stick up to what I need to do. But upstairs and the guys you choose, that's on you. And I've been around a lot of guys that actually do that.
But when we've noticed who those players were, we've said it about them as well.
Yeah.
It's not like he's the only one that anybody talks about. And in the end, what it comes down to is that, look, you look at him and you just, listen, I've been covering the league for 30 years. I got to tell y'all, one of my most depressing moments, Molly will attest to this, is when he went to Brooklyn. I wanted him to be a Knick so bad. I'd give anything for KD to be a Knick.
Hey, it's not too late.
I'd give anything for him to be
Not too
a
late.
Knick.
It's still
Anything for
brewing.
him to be a
All
Knick.
right.
Still.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a